What's up, black people? What's up, melanated people? It's me again, and I'm making this video. I'm making this video for education, entertainment, and for most of all, human awareness and human rights. So, with that, let me get started. I want to bring, your attention to the functions of the Judiciary Committee and its many functions. And one of these functions is like they're watchdogs for different agencies, you know that consist of anything to do with law enforcement, the law, constitution. They dictate what I'm saying how their policies go. So with that, what I mean. But I want to expound on something that I mentioned in one of my other videos, and it's about Dexter Wade. You know what I mean, and how police play a part, and fucking black people out of due process. They just don't care about our due process rights and our constitutional rights. This is what I'm saying, a blatant pattern that has been played out for a number of years and it have yet to be corrected. So without further ado, let me just give you some context.
The gruesome discovery of 215 bodies buried in unmarked graves behind a jail outside of Jackson, Mississippi, has left the community in disbelief. The families are angry their loved ones were buried in so-called paupers' graves, marked by just a metal rod and a number, and families were never notified of their deaths. The startling revelation came months after the mother of 37-year-old Dexter Wade filed a missing persons report last March. It wasn't until August when Betterson Wade learned her son had been hit by a police car and killed, then buried in that same cemetery. For more about
Okay, so let's just call a spade a spade. You know what I mean, and let's address the elephant in the room. Um, this government, and its many different functions fail, I'm saying, black people and fail black people repeatedly, where, we are constantly are subjected to, due process rights violations, which results in our deaths, I'm saying, black deaths, I'm saying, loss of black life. This court system and the police for them have, I'm saying, there's a record. I see just a record number of black people, have been illegally, I'm saying, executed, and all they can say is oops. They have been a number of black people has been illegally sentenced to life in prison. The most famous one was Jamal Love, and Kamala Harris was district attorney on that one. He won $13 million on that one. You know, so let me and it's like law enforcement has cost this nation within the last 10 years over $3.2 billion in lawsuits. You know, and to add the injury to insult, they have been convicted of drug selling, kidnapping, child pornography, murder, drug selling, and this is it sounds just like a criminal organization. It doesn't sound like law enforcement. It sounds just like a criminal organization being ran. And this government allows it to keep happening. So why do they still have immunity? And they get to commit murder, they get to sell drugs, they get to, what I'm saying, rape kids. They have, what I'm saying, been arrested for child pornography, you name it. They have priors, just like the regular citizen. They have priors, you know, and let me just I'm saying address this is this it's been like we have seen you know we have seen Pam Bundy, Cash Patel commit perjury, and obstruction of justice. These are just what I mean. But if a black man can saying a black man or a black woman or a black child cannot tell the police what I'm saying, that they're violating their constitutional rights without being murdered and beaten. And this is but we see these people just get what I mean. They just get a slap on the wrist. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, what I'm saying, the law enforcement has cost this nation $3.2 billion. And it's coming out of taxpayers. It's coming out of our money. You know, so let me give you key functions of the judiciary, the Judiciary Committee. You know, which is they interpret the law. The judiciary determines the meaning of law and constitution. So let's just say, we know this country is racist. We know this country is racist, and that they allow racist individuals to become senators, Congress. They allow them to become judges, federal judges. These are all, they're all racist. They come from traditional and foundational racist people, and they're going to misconstrue the Constitution and our constitutional rights as as they see fit. That has nothing to do with what is written, our forefathers written. So and then let me continue here. Um, you know, Protecting rights, judiciary safeguards the rights of individuals, rights and liberties guaranteed by the Constitution, and striking down laws that violate them. You know, they supposed to strike down laws that violate our constitutional rights. Well, what I'm saying? The police immunity law, I'm saying, it's like, it's the immunity that immunity law allows the law enforcement across this country to act like an organized criminal unit. Let's just, I'm saying, after I demonstrated that to you, what happened to Dexter Wade, they operate under organized crime, what they are, they operate under organized crime type of rules, criminals, so, this is unacceptable. And this country is, this when the rule of law is not being followed, that is the end of democracy. And these racist people that's in government, allow this to keep happening only to black people. It's like, let me read you something else too. Is checking the other branches, checking the other branches, and it serves as a check on the power of legislative that exceeds its authority. Now, by now, we all know that law enforcement, had already exceeded its authority when all these officers keep getting convicted of murder. Murder. You know, and I believe Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee. You know, and none of this stuff that's, I'm saying, that's dealing with all these lynchings for the last, I just say, with the last 4 years. I'm saying 4 years. I'm saying, let's just say 24 and 25. There's has been at least 10 bodies. That's 10 black people has been found hanging from trees, and law enforcement and the medical examiner's office immediately says it's, suicide. Well, we already know Trey Reed wasn't a suicide, which they already did. So now we know there's foul play. That's coming off straight from the top. So when you got government officials, just letting this pass, we're a lawless country. This is a lawless country where the rule of law is not respected. Because we have racist people in government, just like, and I'm not going to exclude the Supreme Court, the highest court in this country, who, acts like the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre didn't happen. And, they denied Viola Fletcher's lawsuit, straight kicked it out. Like that didn't happen. Only I'm going to tell you why they kicked it out, because law enforcement and the military participated in the massacres of black people, the looting of our properties, the stealing of our properties. That was done by the military, who's participated in that, and Elaine, Texas. They participated and executed, executed and lynched, and massacred black babies, children, elderly. This is going on by our government. So black people, with that, stay alert, stay black, stay woke, and love, peace, and light. I'm out.